The inevitable waiting around period begins as we wait for things to go live on all the places. There we go. Looks like now we are live. I was talking to myself there for a minute. Nobody heard that. Nobody at all. Let me make sure. Let's see. Come on. Are you in there? Last active. Book career in a year. Here we go. Okay, cool. So you need to see my face, though. How about this? Should be here. Got a couple eyeballs in there now. There we go. Some people showing up. Is there a face? We got a face? Give me my face. Ready? There's a big delay from OBS to Switchboard, which I use to stream to all the different places. And, come on. Is it going to show up here? What's going on? There's a significant delay, apparently. Like a minute. There it is. Okay. Yeah, so you guys can hear me live, but there's static. Lynn, are you hearing any static? Is it staticky? What's going on? Talk to me, people. Let me pull up an OBS here and just back my camera up. That's not too bad, actually. That'll work. Look at that cool office. Man. Stupid camera. Okay, can you hear me now? Hopefully that worked. Not sure why this isn't now, but plug that back in. Oh, I was trying to do that. Oh, I see. Okay. That's really frustrating that it's staticky. Oh well. Here's what I'm going to do. Let me record separately. Dang. Alright, hold on. I don't know why it's so static. It's really frustrating. Sorry, guys. Oh, goody. Okay, well, you can see me now, at least, kind of. And still sounds like it's raining in my house, says Randall. Yeah, I know. I was so worried about getting the stream to work last night. I've never had to plug in and unplug my my mic before. It always just worked. So, okay, we'll go with it. Sorry, it sucks. Then try the, I don't know, no, never mind. I know what it is. I think it's a power thing on my computer. If I unplug that, does that help at all? Does that do anything? Maybe not. Sorry. Best I can do, folks. All right, let's talk about backlists. It's so frustrating, isn't it? Technology just technologies. All right, welcome in. Yeah, I'm excited too. I need a team. No difference. Yeah, I know, John. It's the best we're gonna do. It's really this is not. Maybe I should have another microphone somewhere. Did I do that? Oh well. All right, we're gonna go with it. It's the best I can do. So, talking about backlist sales. Let's wait a couple more minutes. Maybe a minute. Yeah, let's wait another minute. We've got a couple people that are people are ditching. It's okay. I get it. I want to ditch too. No, Robin, I know what it is. It's my computer. It's just sometimes it does this. It did this one time on a podcast too, where I literally just restarted the computer and it worked fine. I don't want to do that because it take too long. It just pisses me off. Anyway, hey, so welcome in. We're talking about backlist sales today, or building your backlist, which includes a shout in the comments. I know that you can hear me poorly. I can't hear you at all, so sound off in the comments. Where are you coming from? I know Jones probably from Bakersfield. We'll get some of that. Randall's probably somewhere in Florida man land. I know where Robin is. Yeah, I can't remember where you're from. Yeah, just give me a quick little shout. I'm here in Colorado Springs. Static as always, and excited to be with you, but not excited for the tech issues. But you know what? Tech issues happen, and nothing I can do about it. So we'll go with it. We'll roll. Wisconsin. Mary's in from Wisconsin. I love it. Let me try to get all sorts of updates. I can't hear your voice is staticky. Yes, if you're just joining us, my voice is staticky. I apologize. It's just what my voice sounds like after 20 books. But hey, it was after 20. It's after 20, but we made it through Vegas. If you were there with me, good times were had by all. I was pretty good. I managed my energy well, better than I have pretty much any other conference, I think. Maybe the exception, yeah, no, I was out pretty late. I was in bed by probably 10:30, I think, every night. Maybe Tuesday night I was up late. It did pretty well. Managing energy is so important because it's such a, you know, if I wasn't managing my energy well, I would be really upset about the staticky sound, but I'm not. I'm totally fine because it is what it is, or as I like to say, it's what it's. But we're not here to talk about Vegas. We're not here to talk about managing energy. We've already done that. We're going to talk about backlist sales. And the goal here is to give kind of an overview of how I define backlist, because I think everyone's got a little bit different definition for it. Is that fair? And therefore everybody sort of approaches how to set them up and how to use them a little bit differently, which is fine, which is kind of the whole point. That's the whole point of it, is it's our own author career that we're who's been doing this for about 10 years, maybe a little bit over. And I've got a pretty healthy backlist, a pretty good sized backlist. And I know how to use it to prop up sales of the front list. So we'll start there. We'll start with some definitions. We'll get into how I sort of approach setting this up, building it, selling it, using it, so that it's not just a book that you forget about. And then we'll move into question and answer, as always. So welcome in, everyone. Wes is from Vancouver. That's somewhere up in Canada, I believe. I don't know. I'm just kidding. It is. Yeah. So here's how I define a backlist. I call a backlist any more than three or more titles, I should say, 3 or more books. Full length is kind of probably part of the definition, that are not your current active series. Okay, there's a lot to unpack within that. Again, this is just my definition. You don't have to use it. I don't really care. It's a good, healthy start toward a backlist, but there's not enough promotional, levers you can pull when there's only 2 books or only 1 book. Certainly camps to really prop up that backlist, which is going to kind of take your foundation income to another level. Meaning, you're going to be able to use that foundation to bring up not only your backlist, but it's going to promote your front list, and you're going to sell more on that front list. So by definition, a front list is the list of books that you've got out in a series, usually, that are currently what you would call active, meaning they've just been released, if they're standalones, within the last 6 months maybe, or they're part of an ongoing series that you don't have any plans to end anytime soon, or if you do, you haven't ended it yet. These are front list titles. And so everything else becomes a backlist. And the reason I wanted to harp on backlist today is a lot of people, a lot of authors, myself included, get into this rut where we sort of forget to promote the backlist. We forget to actually use the backlist to benefit our front list. Make sense? So it becomes a little tricky to pull the right promotional levers, meaning you can't easily get a BookBub, I don't think I've seen it actually, for like a short story or a novella in your universe. You can try, maybe, I'm sure there's somebody that's gotten it, but I've never done it, and I get BookBubs every 3 months, sorry. You can't really use some of the promotional websites like Free Booksy or the Written Word Media stuff, which actually might be the same thing, because they want full-length novels. And so your ability to use those promotional tools is very limited when you don't have full-length books in your backlist. Fair? In addition, advertising becomes prohibitively expensive because we want to advertise full-length books because that's what the readers are going to click and want to buy. Doesn't mean it's impossible if you've got 3 opportunity, potentially, because a reader might come over and go, oh, these aren't full-length, these aren't 80,000 to 100,000 word thrillers or 50,000 word sweet romance. These are, half that or less. They might click away. And so minimum, I don't know what it is, but I do. I just think it's relatively short. But anyway, I don't know that anyone has gotten a BookBub for a short story. Maybe a collection of short stories, right? So the point is, backlist 3 titles. 3 titles that are not in your current cycle of series, okay? And these are books that are usually not in your main series for that reason. So you've got a series that's ongoing. Mine is Harvey Bennett, right? The Harvey Bennett thrillers. I've got 6 other series that have like book 1s or maybe book 2s. These I would call my front list books. So everything else is my backlist. So the standalones that I started with, The Depths, The Golden Crystal, which is now The Atlantis Stone, those are backlist titles. They're standalone. But they're also titles that are old, like I'm not even thinking about them anymore. And so these become part of my backlist. And so that's how I would define this stuff. So when we're talking backlist, when I'm talking backlist, I had 2 goals for my backlist. This was circa 2020 maybe, when I sat down and said, okay, I need to kind of figure out how I'm going to get this thing off the ground, figure out how I'm going to get my career going again, or to the next level, I should say, right? My career was fine. It was just we're moving and everything, and I knew I had all these titles back here, and I thought, well, shit, they're not really doing anything. They're making $15 a month, each one, which isn't nothing, but it's not great, right? So my goal, I set my 2 goals for myself, and I think, at some months I've accomplished this financially, but I would love to get this to like a steady, consistent level. So here are my 2 goals. I want a backlist, again, 3+ books that are not my main series, and I want to get that backlist built as fast as possible. Check, okay? I already had that. Circa 2020, I had a decent backlist. The Mason-Dixon series is 3 books just by itself, not actively working on that series at the time, and so that became backlist, right? So good, I checked that box. If you're a new author, if you're hearing me and you're like, wow, I've written 1 book or I'm in 1 series, the goal should be get that backlist built as fast as possible. This is just another way of saying write more books. Write get some stuff out, publish some stuff, get it going, right? That's it. I mean, that's really all I'm saying here is just focus on writing the book. Focus on writing your series. Don't, give up the series that's selling well to go create a backlist. You don't want to just create books that aren't going to sell so that you can forget about them and eventually have them become a backlist. That's not really the point. But you need to write more books so that you can eventually have a backlist. Now, if you're one of the exceptions that has a long-running series, 6, 7, 8, 9 books or more, and that's it, then you can actually use that series as part of your backlist. Like some of the stuff I'm going to talk about right now is going to be, you can define that as part of your backlist, is what I'm saying. I just think you would be better served, focusing on writing the next book in the series that's selling well, if it is selling well, and not worrying about anything I'm about to say backlist-wise, except in terms of how to promote that series. If that makes sense. If you aren't selling that series well, stop. Maybe try something new, right? Get to that backlist point. This is where that goal comes back in. Put a bunch of feelers out is essentially what I'm saying. Try something different. Okay, Mason-Dixon series sold pretty well for a minute and then it stopped. Okay, great. So I'm going to move on to the next thing. So that's sort of the mindset. You've got some books in the pipe. You're going to be fine. You've got a backlist already, so we'll move on. The second goal that I had for myself is get my backlist, those 3 or more books, selling in the front list, your recent books and your ongoing series, add those up, the income you make from those books, and then whatever that number is, $1,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $50,000 a month, that's what I want my backlist selling at. That was my goal. Now the reasons I chose that, and it might sound crazy, but the reasons I chose that number, sure, it was arbitrary initially, but the reasons I chose that number were that I felt if I could get that many eyeballs on my front list converted and buying that and propping up my my income, my career, I should be able to convert some of those people to a backlist that was bigger at the time than those books in the front list, right? So if you only have 3 books in your backlist, this may not be the goal for you. This may not be the number that you want to hit. But for me, with a backlist that was about maybe 1.5 times the size of my front list. So if I had 10 books in my front list, I had 15 in the backlist. Does that make sense? I thought, well, I should be able to, yeah, sure, each book is going to make less than its counterpart in the front list, if that makes sense. But overall, I want to be making about the same amount with my backlist as I am with the front list. Pretty simple. The second reason was it was an easy target. I mean, it was an easy number to pick. I had this number over here, and I thought, well, I just categorize all these books as front list and then categorize all these as backlist, and there's more over here. Let me try to get this to be the same number. And then the third reason, this is the most important one, that I chose this type of goal, and I recommend you do the same thing for your backlist. The third reason is you got to have some goal, right? We've talked about goals a lot, the productivity, the mindset, all that stuff. If you just sort of write the book and it doesn't do what you want it to do, or even if it does and it just sort of peters out as books are wont to do, and you end up throwing it in the backlist and forgetting about it, you're wasting opportunity. You're wasting, momentum, and you're wasting potential. And so you need to have some kind of goal. It doesn't have to be, equal, to your front list